ain't go nowhere. I'm still here, and I'm going here today. But even though I'm going here, doesn't mean that I'm actually gonna play. Y'all know how I do, cause the team ain't with me. I'm here solo today. It's all good. Life is beautiful. I'll see him again next week, maybe. Uh, he's been doing the known at camp again. So this is I gotta get on them because it's like no, he's 14. This the last year. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was 13, I I used to be a day camp that we went to. So when I was 12, yeah, I was a camper. When I was 13, it was like I'm too old to be a camper now. You know what I mean? I gotta step up, and so we went to go become counselors. It was part of the church system, and we all became counselors for the camp, and all my fellow former campers, they got jobs. I volunteered. That was officially my first job. My dad told me to volunteer, so I volunteered and worked. And me buying Ronald and buying Ryan got paid. Rest in peace. But they were the men in the house, so it was understandable. My dad would still slip me a little dollar here or there to go hang out with them, and you know what I mean. And then that following year, when I was 14, it was like volunteer again to be a camper, and I was like, nah. I rolled with E Double, rest in peace, Eric, and I got a job at Will Pump the Derby's Will Pump Inn, and I was washing them dishes, and I had nightmares about that job. I might still have nightmares about that to this day, but that job was cool because it taught me a lesson on how hypocritical they are. Because I was only getting paid with $3, $4 an hour, and was working my butt off. But the French benefits was you get a free meal. So they was like still some of the most memorable hamburgers that I used to eat because the cook would teach you how to do it too. So I was learning how to cook, and busting my butt washing all those crazy dishes, and getting to know the Derby family. I think that was the name of the family that owned it. And working with Eric and Richie worked there too. So, and then we would play football together. We play tackle on after works once in a while or something like that. And Eric worked there for a couple years. Like I went back like the next year and did a little bit. Was like, nah, I can't do this again. And then that either that next year I went back there for another summer, and then that following year I worked, or I might have worked there and then got a job at Kmart. I started working at Kmart down the street in Flower Town not too long after that, and the rest is history. So, but no, I'm here to rap about the movie because we went to go see that movie. See, now I'm confused. Auto, playtime. Let's go here because it don't matter. Um, like I said, I'm just letting it play in the background because that's what I do. My son, when he gets on here, he does all types of crazy, amazing things, and I want to record him playing it and then cut it up and make it into, um, advertisement for Sonic Frontiers. To rap a little bit about my channel and what I'm trying to do in gaming as far as I'm not really not in I'm not a gaming channel. I'm a hip hop channel, and that's where people get a little confused. You see, hip hop is an American culture created by the children of the 1960 Civil Rights Movement. That's where we started. And my son helped me start it that way because he came home one day and he had a book report, or there's a lot of things. We've always worked together in trying to develop our own YouTube channel. So he has his own channel, and his is mostly gaming. Mine is mostly hip hop, and we developed this concept ideas. Now we didn't not all by ourselves because I've been teaching the aspects of the gospel of hip hop and Don't Sweat the Technique and The Tower Wu. Um, three great books by Karis One, Rakim, and RZA. So that's why I kind of give them three the top five positions. I put Rakim number one with Eric B. And does that include LL Cool J and Def Jam? I guess. Um, I've been saying Def Jam Zero to make them the origin. Run DMC, Sugar Hill Gang. Like that's the origin. That's the 0 point. And then we get to who's the one number one. We'll make Rakim number one. Big Daddy Kane and the Juice Crew 2. EPMD 3. Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick 4. But even though Slick Rick would be considered part of Def Jam, that's what LL was saying. And Karis One, Boogie Down Productions. And that includes Guru in them because once he left Boogie Down Productions or changed the concept of Boogie Down Productions to Karis One, that's when him and Primo and Digging in the Crates got together and the rest is, like I said, history. But they still doing it to this day, and they still dropping that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to help everybody achieve freedom, justice, and equality. You see, Chris was the one that told us rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. The difference is kids nowadays, they got the videos. Rappers don't need skill to build, so they don't really know, right? Those are the lyrics of Karis One. My lyrics, I'm on some tautological epistemology. We're going to get there one day, but I'm taking it one day at a time. And like I said, the main focus is, for my son, it will be this, because this is Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's hard to even get a good picture of him because he's so fast. Hold on, see, this is so. Three ancient switches on the ground. Activate them, reward, and unlock the part of the map. Alright, so. But yeah, I'm not just. This is like the open world Sonic. So, I want to do good pictures, little good video, and then we'll figure out, how to tell a little bit of a different story and include ourselves in that story, because that's what we try to do, me and my son. But I'm here to talk about Superman and give my review on Superman, and I've been doing that slowly, because I think the first thing we have to recognize and understand, the rating system is the government, and therein is how they got in the way of what I call hip hop culture, or what we call hip hop culture. Anybody that considers themselves a hip hopper, and when Rakim, Eric B. as president is the one that we started with. Me and my son started with, and so for us, it's Eric B. is the president. Who cares if it's Ronald Reagan? Who cares if it's Barack Obama? Who really cares? And so even to this day, who cares if it's Donald Trump? It don't waste my time even being concerned with that. Eric B. is the president of hip hop culture. All right, now we can move on from there. What does that mean? That means it does what he does. It would be cool to see as much as Eric B. as we do. We don't see that much of Rakim or Karis One. We see a lot of these knuckleheads, and then they get upset or hate when Kendrick gives a shout out to Rakim. It's what I mean, because right now right now Kendrick is number one. Ain't nobody going on the Super Bowl and dissing another rapper for fun. That's it. That was he's the last one. That's never going to happen again. I can't see it happening because it was over people's heads. They still don't understand that. Right, so I sit back and I go, yeah, that was the greatest halftime performance of all time. Even though it's the one with Dre and Kendrick was a part of that, and Snoop Dogg, and the quote unquote NWA one, right? But there was Def J, but they weren't NWA. They're not. They weren't Death Row. So like, who were they? And therein is where you get to the music. Um, and then I take a sip of my drink while I'm rapping and everything. I don't mean to be rude like that. How many minutes did I give y'all? Can't even say. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm trying to keep them under 30, so I'm going on right on time. Yeah, and I'm almost done. Um, yeah, because I'm talking about rating systems, and it's like, well, why are you talking about rating systems? Like that's what because when Rakim, there was no explicit content sticker on the music, right? And the way Rakim did it was came through the door, said it before, never let the mic magnetize me no more. Basic, simple lyrics, and so that's not what got him in trouble, right? I mean, he did have maybe a darn here or there, like you know what I mean. Like he might have said it one time, no f bombs, right? No, like that wasn't his, you know, thing to really be cuss like a lot of rappers do. And once the flood market, once it started flooding, then we started cussing in order to be, the best or to be heard the most. Like, oh, he said F 3 times in a row, or he said L 6 times in a row, or whatever. Like, and or hate. He said hate like 6 times, and it's weird to be on that same kind of thing now. Like I try to keep my content PG-13, quote unquote. But what does that really mean? Like there was no PG-13 until the Temple of Doom and Gremlins. And Gremlins is the movie that my mom, was it Gremlins? Oh, it's Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was the movie that my mom took my brother to go see. I don't remember the whole story exactly. Like I think me, Byron, and Ron, we went to go see Beat Street, and even that was PG. But they cussed a little bit. So you need a little parental guidance. So, but we were 14, so we was old enough to go see it. So that's why they came up with the idea of PG-13. It's older, like you know what I mean, if you're 13 or 14, you're old enough to go see it on your own, but the content could still be something that's mature. So the issue with Superman is that they play Russian roulette in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like Russian roulette is real. Like, and especially when you're dealing with people that's not mentally stable, right? You see somebody that's the trans word, right? They're not mentally stable. Now they want, they want to, the lawyers want to argue and debate on that and why T men can go play box a woman and vice, you know what I mean? Like there is no vice versa. All right, that's what we're trying to point out. Like, nah, it's the day that a girl steps on the U.S. men's basketball team and can start like, over Spud Webb, or I'm just grabbing a name, you know what I mean? Because now you're dealing with, they got to be, they got to be a superwoman, right? It has to be Wonder Woman in order to do that. Like only Wonder Woman can make the team when you're talking about the Super Friends, right? Well, it was the Wonder Twins was on it. In this movie they had Hawk Girl. Like we get it. But she has to be extraordinary in order to be able to play for the NBA. Like that's not going to happen, yo. Right? That's not going to happen. So to think that a woman can make the NFL is like, that's not going to happen, yo. Even if she's a kicker, like we get it. right? Yeah, you could get a woman to be a kicker on the football team, but on kickoffs, right? The kicker has to be able to, you know what I mean? The kicker's the last man, right? So you got these little, well, who should I mess with right now? Romanian. That's Romania. Is that a real country? I guess so. Romania, right? We get a little Romanian kicker, right? and kick off, and the guys running it back, and geez, I was trying to think of a good one. Who does kick returns, right? And he's supposed to be able to stop them from getting the touchdown, right? Like it's not going to happen, right? Uh, my mind is everywhere right now. I'm trying to slow down, um, because yeah, the focus is the rating system, and what does it mean to be PG-13? And Russian roulette is really rated R, right? If you have a kid that's 14, and D Wade's son, right, or daughter, right, there's a mental health issue there. Like, nah, it shouldn't be watching this. Really, like, I mean, and that's up to the PG. That's up to parental guidance. No, D Wade, your son has. You're saying that he has a mental health issue, and you want to go watch. You want him to watch a movie that has Russian roulette in it, and now you have one of those in the house, and right, and he decides to play by himself because of whatever mental depressions or whatever he has going on. Because yes, that is a mental depression if you have to be something that you're not. You know, like we get girls like it is cute to be Barbie. You know what I mean? But I'm not playing with Barbie. Like um, in board games, it was the game of life. Right? I'm not playing the game of life. The game of life is corny to me. Yeah, it dealt with money and trying to make $1 million by the end of the game, but it was more so about getting a degree and getting married and having a car full of kids, right? And it's like, those things is cute. Like that's supposed to be life. Um, but it's hard on a father out here. You know what I mean? Especially when you're trying to build a fatherhood of God and brotherhood of man, and these dudes is out here like just wrong, like without a father, or you trying to work with other fathers, like, hey, let's do this, and let's come together. I need you to do this and this, and then it's, well, who put you in charge? Like, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, I got the blueprint, the business proposal, and the feasibility report, and it's like, all right, put up $5, and it's like, well, you got to put up the cash too, like dude, how much cash you putting up? And it's like, all right, I will holler at y'all later. Like it's a waste of my time. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing that just to show that it's live. I can play the game, and what I mean, that's what my son wanted to see me play the game. And no, Daddy, you got to do it this way, and that's why I needed him here. What is this training simulator? To go to the training simulator now. What in the world? Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, one of my buttons is messed up anyway. So, yeah, we're still on rating systems. So the rating system. So yeah, that's why I first went with PG-13. This Superman is PG-13, and it is borderline rated R. It's not as rated R like what is the name of the other one? Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool is rated R. They purposely made Deadpool just blow people brains out, shoot people. He gets he gets decapitated. It's all this weird, completely weirdness, and it's so that's all this guy did. And the Dead Squad is usually I think it's Dead Cool Squad or something like that. Death Squad. That's another one that they decide to make rated R. Superman is the sun god. He's the one that's love, right? And Lois Lane is his love. That's always been Superman, right? I don't know who, right? Superman is the most desired man on the planet, and he wants Lois Lane. That's been Superman's story from the beginning. I really don't. I really don't know what y'all be talking about. With all this other stuff of trying to define masculinity, being toxic or femininity being toxic. Like I get it because that's what came from the LGBTQIA plus .pdf file, the woke folk. Um, they saying the woke folk is hip hop. Like nah, hip hop. We understand the difference between realism and escapism. In fact, escapism is a song on Mecca and the Soul Brother. Right now we talking that real hip hop. Realism is it was supposed to be Malcolm X, but if you watch that movie, there's things that's or even read the book by Alex Haley. There's different Malcolm X books. There's a lot of questionable things when doing an autobiography or a biography or bibliography for somebody else. An autobiography is really you, but even if I was to write mine, it's going to be things that he's exaggerating. He didn't. It's like I might have did it right, solved whatever proof or mathematical proof on the space time continuum. Yeah, I can pull my notes out and be like, yeah, I solved it. I solved the meaning of life, right? But only a mind on that level can understand the mathematics that I present, and then be able to point out the error in my work. We too many of you is like, yeah, that's a bad movie. It says no, it's not a bad movie. Superman wasn't a bad movie. It just you didn't understand. It's over your head. Right? It's one that's not meant for little children. I would not take a 10-year-old to see that movie. I would wait for it to be on TV, and then that way I can cut out. The TV is supposed to cut out the Russian roulette. It's supposed to cut that out. Certain things you have to cut out. It was just like it was just 2 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to watch that movie with my son. Because he wouldn't have understood that, right? He would have responded just like the what's his name, the Morphin guy responded when after Lex Luthor did it. Like, what in the world? Like, he's the most evil. Like, Spies in Disguise was my son's movie, where we went to go to see the movie, and the evil guy shot a rocket and blew the ship that the kid was in up. And I turned to my son as soon as it happened, like, he's not in there. He got out of it, right? That's right. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, I know, Dad. He didn't die. He didn't die, right? So he's trying to tell himself, he's trying to hype himself up, but then he goes, you mean and evil. He just starts screaming on the bad guy. And it was one of the, most precious moments a father could have. Like, he understands the difference between good and evil. Meanwhile, his little friend that we took to, was, shout out to Aiden. Aiden's a good dude, but he's a stickman killer. Like, he's stickman, kill people. Like, so whenever they get together, but Aiden was eating his little popcorn. Like, what's wrong? Like, what's the problem? Like, the kid, never mind. So same is true with this movie. It's certain things that it has like 3 or 4 deaths in it, and it's not gruesome. It's not splatter, blood splatter, and nothing like that, which they used to try to do with video games like Mortal Kombat. And, instead of red blood, they'll make it green blood or whatever. Um, but it was a little graphic, and it was enough to not use your imagination. Oh, I got a battle, ain't even. See, I'm good. See, I'm getting better, getting better. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. And then, that's why my first analysis of it, I compared it to Malcolm X. Because Malcolm X was a rated R movie. I swear it was. But Malcolm X is actually now is PG-13, and it's more so the content. Like there's a Russian roulette scene in that where Malcolm uses it to, hey, I'm the leader, and him and the other boy, the light skinned boy or whatever, right? And it became like, who's the leader? Like, we're gonna play some Russian roulette type thing. Click, click, and dude gave up like, you the leader by the end of the jump because made Malcolm that dude, So, but different conceptually, and I think I used it because yes, Malcolm X is realism. Malcolm X is a real Black American hero. It's not an African American hero. He's a real Black American hero. Um, they want us to say brown American hero or light skinned American hero or like anything other than Black American hero, and they want us to use African American hero, and it's like, nah, that's not. Nah, that's a new concept, right? African American is a new concept, and it is Barack Obama, right? Because yes, we get it. Barack Obama, you don't, calling him black is being disrespectful to his mother. You know what I mean? That his white mother is his earth. So when they want to say she's American, all right, cool. They want to say his dad is African because he's from Nigeria or whatever. All right, cool. So he's African American. All right, cool. Um, but he wants to say that he's black, but he's putting, everybody else except for America first. African, immigrants first. But then he's killing off Egyptians like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to give him credit for being a peacemaker. It's very hypocritical. But then therein is the politics. But Malcolm X was a religious figure. He was just trying to lead his people in his faith, which was Muslim. And therein is why they like to put Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X. They were both martyrs for us. That martyr is that true hero, right? That person that's willing to die to save you. And therein is why, Superman was toned down a little bit. All right. Like, yeah, he bullets probably bounce off him because bullets are, don't hit as hard as himself, you know. But, most of the blood was like him biting his tongue or something silly like that. It's like, I mean, come on. Is that y'all biggest complaint that, Superman got a bloody lip and hence he's a weak man? Now, he was willing to sacrifice himself to save the world. Now, y'all say, he's number 2 to Jesus. I ain't got a problem with it. He's imaginary. He's escapism. Yes, he's imaginary. He's escapism. Jesus is realism. Yeah, cool. Jesus is realism. Leave me alone. But I know that rock, that rock was the 10 Commandments. That's what he gave Moses. Y'all want to say not. No. It's love God. Respect, Lord. Seek wisdom. Oh yeah, yeah. That was what I was supposed to do too. Am I out of time? I think I'm out of time. I didn't rap too much. Where we at? Yeah, we at 30. So I'm gonna end it here. But I am gonna end it with a song because that's my new thing. Right? Just gonna give y'all a little bit. Um, and this is hip hop. Y'all, they try to tell you is only a specific genre. Like, nah, you got, just like with movies, you got hip hop action, you got hip hop drama, you got hip hop, like same with music. You got hip hop country, you got hip hop jazz, you got hip hop, you know, um, because it's more about the culture and the meaning of the lyrics and what they're trying to convey. So, um, I'm gonna drop a little. I'm gonna drop a real classic on y'all. Some classic hip hop right here. This is what I listen to when I need to reflect on life and just enjoy it and appreciate all that God has given me. Right. So here we go. Y'all ready for this? Oh, did y'all hear that? Let me turn that up a little bit. That's right. Mama been laid off. Papa been laid off. And I hope they don't copyright claim me for, cutting it up a little. They are, this is Sade I Do. All right? Sade I Do. Yeah. Um, and I didn't always bang, head bang and stuff. Like this is the music that would be playing in the background when I was just chilling and reflecting on life. It's not always rap, 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 rap. It was, Mary J sings, and she's hip hop. Um, Jill Scott sings, she's hip hop. Erica Badu is hip hop. She's out of control. Yeah, but she's that's they baby mama. I ain't got issues with her, but she did get Barack Obama in trouble because she talked too much. And they can do all kinds of crazy wild parties and we just trying to chill, listen to some music, play some chess, enjoy life. So this is what I would listen to sometimes. Me and a couple of my friends. My brother been laid off for more than 2 years now. Ooh, can't get a job. Billy can't get a job. Shout out to Billy McClain. That's one of the Wonder Twins. I'm just, whatever, just can't get a job. Billy can't get a job. Billy can't get a job. Yo, these are some dope lyrics right here. They real simple. You know what I mean? It's talking about the economic issues that's going on today. It's very political. I don't say it's woke. They gotta listen to the blues. It's the blues. Shout out to Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy used to listen to the blues all the time. And Aunt Mamie. Shout out to my great aunt and uncle, and they family. Deb too, Deb is saying happy birthday to Naima. Happy birthday, Naima. Oh, this is going out to Naima. Help them to strive. Help them to strive. Help them to move on. Help them to have some future. Help them to have some future. Help them to live long. Help them to live long. I can't hit that high. I practice. I get back to hitting those high notes. I used to hit those high notes. Help them to live life. Help them live life. Help them to smile. Help them to smile. Don't let them stay home. Don't let them stay home. Don't let them stay home. And listen to the blues. That's dangerous. Just sitting home listening to the blues. Yeah, that is dangerous. Something? I'm going to go to the library. God is love. Hip hop is life. Time is holy. Money is nothing more than the fourth dimension of the illusion that really doesn't exist. macro or micro. We'll get back to that. Just like escapism or realism, we'll get back to that. And definitely optimism or pessimism. We'll get back to all those isms at another time, right? That's not what this episode was about. It was about, yo, that Superman movie was good. Yes, it would be great if it made $1 billion and then they can make the whole franchise and the Justice bag, because yeah, that was a good concept. The Justice, uh, Bad Justice League or whatever. Now, what do they call them? The Justice Gang would be cool. That would be cool to go see in 2 years or a year or two. Put that on the list with Zelda, because that would probably be my next movie. I ain't trying to go to the movies just to see garbage. But it is not garbage. I'm sure Fantastic Four is not garbage either, but I just can't do Silver Surfer. I just can't. Even though, Mr. Terrific is what is they called, a token. Well, that's what the ignorant people want to. He's Mr. Token. Is like, or just like all the most of the black characters, they race swap the men. But gender swapping is kind of stupid. It is kind of ignorant, because now you're changing the logical, emotional concepts of the story, especially when we don't know the backstory of Silver Surfer. We know this. We know the backstory on Silver Surfer. We don't know the backstory on Silver Surfer, and that's where it gets kind of ignorant, because even Superman it's or Peter Parker is Uncle Ben. Batman has always been his mom and dad. Superman, they changed up a little bit. Jonathan Kent usually, like I think in the original one, he died from old age, and in the second one, whoever did some stopped him from saving him in a dog and in a tornado kind of BS. This one, they actually lived and became his grandparents. So that was cute, and that was something that my son can relate to. His grandparents treating him like he's 2 years old, their little baby. Good luck, son. Good luck. And money is nothing more than a fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because life, well, economics, socioeconomics, whatever measurement y'all want to use for that digital stuff, is nothing more than the art of making the most out of life. Now we're talking about hip hop when you're talking about that thing called life. Folothan Modulus Tautology. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back more to explain that Superman movie, because I know y'all not getting it. Y'all just don't get it. It's over your head.